My beloved child, give me just 1 minute. Do not hurry past these words, as you have hurried past so many gentle things I have sent into the busyness of your days. Do not be quick to say that you have no time, for I am not asking you to do anything great, nor am I demanding that you prove your heart with beautiful words. I only ask you to pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and let your heart rest in my presence. I am in your room, not as a stranger standing outside the doorway, not as a stern voice coming to rebuke you, but as a merciful Father who has always known how tired you are, who has always seen the tears you wiped away quickly before anyone could notice, and before you begin to think that you are not good enough, that you have not gone far enough, that you have not done anything meaningful. I want to tell you this. I am very proud of you. I am proud because you did not give up on the days when your heart was breaking. I am proud because even when you were weak, you still tried to wake up, still kept walking, still held a small bit of hope within your heart. You may not see how long the road you have traveled has been, but I see it. You may only look at the things you still do not have, but I see what you have overcome, and in my eyes, you are not a failure trying to become someone else. You are a beloved child, learning how to grow amid the great winds of your life. Perhaps tonight, your room is quieter than usual. Perhaps outside there are still the sounds of cars, voices, and lives rushing by. Yet, within you, there is a silence filled with unspoken things. Perhaps you smiled at everyone, but when you are alone, you do not know how to smile at yourself. Perhaps you still fulfill your duties, still answer messages, still complete your work, still care for others. But deep within your heart, you are asking yourself, does anyone truly understand me? I do. Before you open your mouth, I already know what weighs upon your heart. Before you give your sorrow a name, I have already seen it sitting quietly in the corner of your soul. The psalm says, O Lord, you have searched me and known me. And that is not a word meant to make you afraid, but a word meant to comfort you. I know when you sit down and try to appear normal. I know when you stay silent because you do not want to bother anyone. I know the times you blame yourself for not being as strong as you wished you were. But my child, being strong does not mean never crying. Being strong means still turning toward the light, even when your eyes are wet. Being strong means daring to remain in this life, daring to believe that tomorrow can still be better, daring to let me hold your hand when your feet no longer want to take another step. I have seen you in the hours when no one else was watching. I saw you stay up late because you were worried about the future. I saw you quietly check your phone, hoping for a message of care that still had not come. I saw you stand before the mirror and wonder why you could not love yourself as I still love you. I saw you try to become the person everyone expected you to be, until you forgot that your own heart also needed rest. But I did not create you to live your whole life in comparison. I did not place breath within your chest so you would spend your days chasing standards that exhaust your soul. I call you by your name. I do not call you by your failures, nor by the times you stumbled, nor by the criticisms others once placed upon your shoulders. Through the prophet Isaiah, I said, do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. Do you hear that? You are mine. That means you are not abandoned in this vast world. You do not have to cross every darkness alone. You do not need to trade away your soul in order to be recognized by people. Even if some doors close before you, I am still the door that does not close. Even if some people turn their backs on you, I will not turn my face away. Even on the days when you no longer know what to believe in, I still believe in you, because I know the good seed I planted in your heart has not died. Do not think that I am close to you only on the days when you pray fervently, or when you have enough peace to sing words of praise. I do not love you in the way the world loves. Near to you today because you succeed. Distant tomorrow because you are weak. My love does not rise and fall with your emotions. It does not disappear when you make a mistake. It does not grow faint when you lose your way. I was there when you fell, and I am still here as you are trying to stand again. Like the father in the story of the prodigal son, I do not stand at the doorway counting your wrongdoings. I look for you from afar. I recognize your footsteps even when you return with wrinkled clothes, with a heart full of shame, with apologies not yet formed into words. When you turn back, even with only a sigh, even with only a small prayer, Lord, please help me. I have already run toward you. I do not embrace you because you are worthy according to human standards. I embrace you because you are my child. There are things you must learn, wounds you need to let me heal, habits you need the courage to release. But not one of those things can make me stop loving you. My love is not a reward for the perfect. My love is a home for those who need to return. So tonight, do not condemn yourself anymore. Do not keep holding on to old judgments that others once handed to you. And do not keep repeating in your mind the words that made you believe you were useless. Perhaps someone told you that you were not good enough. Perhaps someone made you feel small. Perhaps there is an event in the past that, whenever you remember it, fills you with shame, pain, and the wish that you could turn back time. But my child, I do not look at you with the eyes of the past. I look at you with the eyes of restoration. I do not only see the broken pieces within you, I also see the dawn waiting behind the long night. I do not only see your tears, I see the river of mercy quietly softening your heart. There are cracks in the soul that seem to make you ugly, but it is precisely there that my light can enter. Let me touch the part of you that you still hide. Let me enter the place you do not want anyone to know. I do not come to expose your weakness before the world. I come to transform that weakness into the place where you encounter grace. As I said to Paul, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. You do not need to pretend that you are not hurting. You only need to be honest with me. Because with me, you do not have to play the role of the strong one. You are allowed to be a child who needs to be held by the Father. Perhaps you are carrying in your heart a prayer you have brought to me for a very long time. Yet until now, you have still not seen an answer. You asked for a door to open, but before you, there is still a wall. You asked for someone to stay, but they still left. You asked for peace, but your heart is still shaken. At times you wonder whether my silence means I do not hear, whether my delay means I do not care. But, my beloved child, my silence is not my absence. There are seeds that must lie for a long time beneath the dark soil before they can sprout. There are winters that must pass so the branches can learn how to bloom. There are prayers I do not answer in the way you expect, because I see the road ahead, which you cannot yet see. I know what would wound your heart more deeply if I gave it to you too soon. I know which door looks beautiful on the outside but would lead you into weariness. I know the person you are trying to hold on to, yet they cannot walk with you to the place where I want to bring you. Remember that when I close a door, I do not close your hope. When I let you wait, I do not forget you. I am preparing you, healing you, deepening your faith so that when the blessing comes, you will not only receive it with trembling hands, but also with a heart steady enough to keep it. I know you are tired of waiting. I know there are mornings when you wake up and feel no excitement for the new day. I know there are days when you have to remind yourself that you need to keep going, even though you cannot clearly see the reason to continue. But let me remind you that you were not born to live forever beneath the shadow of disappointment. You were created for light. You were created to love, to receive love, and to carry a portion of heaven's gentleness to the people you meet along the road of life. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before you learned how to name this world, I had already called your name within my heart. Perhaps you cannot yet see your purpose, but that does not mean your purpose has disappeared. An unfinished vessel is not a worthless vessel. It is still in the hands of the potter. And so are you. There are days when I must reshape you, remove what no longer fits, and teach you patience in processes you do not understand. But my hands never do this to destroy you. My hands do this so you may become the beautiful version I saw in you long before you knew how to believe in yourself. Look back for a moment, and you will see that you have been protected more than you realized. There were accidents you avoided without even knowing it. There were times when you thought you could not get through. And yet here you are, still breathing, still with a heart, still with another chance to begin again. There were people who left you, but the emptiness they left behind taught you to recognize the value of those who are sincere. There were plans that fell apart, but from those broken pieces, I led you toward another path that was better. Do not remember only what was lost and forget what I preserved. Do not look only at the rain and forget that I still allow the earth to have days of sunshine. Do not look only at the dry season and forget that beneath that soil, the roots are still quietly seeking water. You once thought you were abandoned, but I was still sustaining you. You once thought you had nothing left, but I still left you a ray of hope. And today, right in this room, I want you to realize that you still have more to give thanks for than you think. Give thanks that your eyes can still see the light. Give thanks that your heart can still be moved by a kind word. Give thanks that, even though you have been wounded at times, you have not completely lost the ability to love. I want you to stop living as though you are merely a burden to others. You are not a burden. Your presence has meaning. You may not realize it, but someone was comforted simply because you listened to them. Someone felt lighter because you once smiled at them. Someone did not feel completely alone because you were there. Even if only for one very small moment. You still think you have done nothing. But love does not always create loud things. There are seeds of kindness sown through a caring question, a held hand, a moment of yielding, a time when you chose not to repay hurt with hurt. And I see it all. I see when you choose to forgive even while your heart is still hurting. I see when you hold back a word in order to preserve peace. I see when you are still kind to the world, even though the world has not always been kind to you. That is the beauty I placed within you. That is the lamp I want you to protect. Do not let those who wounded you make you believe that gentleness is weakness. Gentleness is the strength of a soul that has touched true love. Forgiveness does not mean you must open the door for evil to continue harming you. Forgiveness means you place justice in my hands, so your heart no longer remains chained by bitterness. Do not be afraid to begin again. I know that sometimes you look ahead and feel that you are slower than others. Your friends may have better jobs, more stable families, clearer achievements, and you may still be struggling with questions that have no answers. But my child, your life is not a race that I force you to win by surpassing others. Every flower has its own season to bloom. Every river has its own journey toward the great sea. Do not compare your first chapter with someone else's middle chapter. Do not let their beautiful pictures make you forget that behind every smile there are battles of their own. I do not hurry you through shame. I lead you with love. Perhaps today you only have enough strength to tidy your room, answer one phone call, finish one small task, step outside to breathe for a few minutes, or whisper one short prayer. That is not small in my eyes. Small steps, when taken with courage, can carry you through an entire season of darkness. Do not despise the day of small things. Walk one step at a time. Let me be beside you with every step. And when you are tired, Do not be ashamed to rest. Even the earth needs a season of rest so it can bear fruit again. There is one thing I want you to learn in these days. Treat yourself with the kindness you so easily give to others. You forgive the clumsiness of others easily. Yet you are severe with yourself. You easily understand why others are tired. Yet you blame yourself for needing a pause. You easily tell someone else that they will be okay. Yet you do not believe those same words when they are meant for you. I do not want you to live like a jailer over your own heart. I want you to learn how to say to yourself, I am trying. I am healing. I have not arrived where I want to be, but I am no longer where I once fell. Say this, because your words can become a door that opens to peace, or they can become a wall that imprisons your soul. Do not always call yourself a failure. Do not use cruel words to speak about the child I dearly love. When you wound yourself with your own words, my heart aches not because I am angry with you, but because I want you to see in yourself what I am seeing, a beautiful soul, a life still being written, a child who has passed through many storms and yet remains soft enough to need love. I know there are memories that frighten you. There are things that happened which made you believe your future would always be the same. But the past has no right to decide your whole story. Perhaps you were born into a life of many lacks. Perhaps you grew up with words that made your heart shrink. Perhaps you were betrayed, misunderstood, abandoned, or once had to live through days when you did not know what to hold on to. But I can still renew what has grown old. I can turn the place where tears once fell into the place where you learn to comfort others. I can turn your wound into wisdom, not so that you will forever remember the pain, but so that you will understand that you survived. I can turn the person who once trembled into someone who knows how to support those who are trembling. When Elijah was exhausted, he did not need to hear a harsh rebuke. I gave him rest, gave him bread to eat and water to drink, then gently called him back to his path. I treat you in the same way. Sometimes you do not need more pressure. You need rest. You need nourishment. You need to hear again the gentle voice saying, "Rise and eat, for the journey is too great for you." I do not force you to run. I only want you not to remain lying forever in despair. Rise at the pace of healing, and let me walk beside you, my beloved child. Perhaps you are hiding a fear you have never told anyone, the fear that you will never be loved in the right way, the fear that you will never do anything great, the fear that you will fail again, the fear that tomorrow will bring another sorrowful piece of news. But remember that fear is not the final voice of your life. It may knock at the door, but you do not need to invite it to sit within your soul. When fear says, "You cannot," remember the times I carried you through things you once thought impossible. When fear says, "You are alone," remember that I promised, I will never leave you nor forsake you. When fear says, "Nothing will ever change," look up at the sky, because every new morning is a reminder that darkness has no right to remain forever. You do not need to know everything about tomorrow in order to live well today. You only need to trust that I have gone one step ahead of you. You only need to hold my hand on the path right before you. Do not force your heart to carry an entire year in one night. Do not demand that your mind solve every question in one prayer. Live today with faithfulness, with gratitude, with a little courage, and leave tomorrow in my hands. I want you to open the window of your soul a little. Let the light come in. Look and see that there are still beautiful things in this world that I send to you. It may be the scent of the first rain of the season. It may be a flower blooming by the roadside without needing anyone's praise. It may be the laughter of a child. It may be a simple meal with someone waiting for you to come home. It may be a song that softens your heart. It may be the sunlight touching the wall in the room where you are sitting. It may be a small bird flying across the sky without worrying about what it will live on tomorrow. because I still care for it day by day. If I still remember the sparrow, how could I forget you? Miracles do not always come with a great sound of thunder. Many times, a miracle comes in the fact that you can still wake up after a night of crying. A miracle comes when someone calls you at the right moment. A miracle comes when you find one small reason to continue. A miracle comes when your heart, after so much pain, still knows how to be moved by love. Learn to recognize me in ordinary things. I am not only in the great things you are waiting for, I am also in the chair where you are sitting, in the light by the window, in the breath entering your chest, in every heartbeat still saying, you are still here. Your story is not over. And if today you do not know what to pray, let me pray with you through my very presence. You do not need to search for lofty words. You only need to say, Father, I am tired. I will understand. You only need to say, Father, I am afraid. I will draw near. You only need to say, Father, please do not let go of my hand, and I will hold you even more tightly. Perhaps your tears will fall. Let them fall. Tears do not take you farther away from me. Tears can become a prayer when you no longer have the strength to speak aloud. I do not count your tears to remind you of suffering. I keep them to remind you that not one of your sorrows is meaningless. One day, you will look back on this road and understand that I was there in every moment. I was there when you thought you had lost everything. I was there when you could not hear my voice. I was there when you felt too weak to believe. I have never left your room, never left your life, never stopped calling you my beloved child. Now, give me one more minute. Place your hand upon your chest and feel the rhythm of your heart still beating. It is a reminder that I have not yet completed the good work within you. Do not abandon yourself while I am still patiently writing the next part of your story. Do not close your heart to love while I am still sending you gentle signs every day. Do not believe that it is too late for you, because with me, no life is ever too late to be made new. Perhaps you have lost many things, but you have not slipped beyond my reach. Perhaps you cannot yet see the way, but I am the light for your steps. Perhaps you do not yet see anything in yourself to be proud of, but I look at you and I smile. I am proud of you not because you have never fallen, but because you are still learning how to rise again. I am proud of you not because you have all the answers, but because in the midst of your questions, you have not stopped seeking the light. I am proud of you because you are still here, still listening, still hoping, still able to love and to be loved. So rest now in this love. Let tonight no longer be a night in which you blame yourself, but a night in which you remember that you are loved. Let tomorrow not be a burden, but a gift still unopened. Walk slowly, but do not turn your back on hope. Forgive yourself for not being perfect. Be gentle with your own heart. Believe that even when you cannot yet see the good that is coming, I am still preparing a way through the place where you thought there was only a dead end. And whenever you feel lonely in that small room, whenever your heart sinks, whenever you do not know whom to lean on, remember this word: I am near you. I do not come to demand that you become someone else. I come to remind you who you are in my love. You are the child who is known, understood, forgiven, protected, and loved beyond anything you can imagine. I am very proud of you. Stay one more minute in this peace. For my beloved child, I am still here, and because I am still here, do not be afraid of the silence now settling over this room. There are silences that are not signs of emptiness, but places where your soul can finally rest after a long day of having to brace itself before the world. You have said too many things that needed to be said, heard too many sounds you did not need to hear, I tried so hard to keep everything in your life standing that you forgot your shoulders are only the shoulders of a human being. So at this hour, I do not want you to keep trying to appear strong. Just sit there, in your familiar room, among the small objects that have witnessed so many of your joyful and sorrowful days, and let your heart lay itself down, not in surrender to despair, my beloved child, but in surrendering your burden into my hands. There is a great difference between giving up hope and ceasing to struggle alone. I am not telling you to stop believing in tomorrow. I only want you to stop forcing yourself to fight everything by yourself. For as I once called to weary souls, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. You do not need to carry everything through this night by your own strength. There are worries you must lay down. There are unanswered questions you must allow to rest. There are people you cannot change, pasts you cannot return to, wounds you are not yet strong enough to name. Leave them all here, before me. I am not in a hurry. I am not discouraged by you. I will sit with you until your breathing becomes calm again, until your eyes no longer look at life through fear, until you remember that you are not alone. Perhaps you are still thinking about something that happened recently, a careless word someone spoke that remained in your heart much longer than they realized, someone's silence that made you wonder whether you had done something wrong, or a door that has just closed and made the whole road ahead suddenly seem dark. You have asked yourself so many times, why did this happen to me? I know. I heard those questions even when you did not dare speak them aloud. I heard them in your sighs, in the times you stared out the window for far too long, even in the smiles you forced upon your face so that no one would worry. But my child, not everything that hurts you has the right to define you. A strong wind may shake the branches of a tree, but it cannot uproot the roots that have grown deep into the earth. A long rainy season may turn the road muddy, but it cannot erase the direction in which you are meant to go. And a loss, however deep, cannot take away the worth I have placed within your soul. You are not the rejection someone gave you. You are not the lack you still blame yourself for. You are not the memory that makes you bow your head each time it returns. I see you more deeply than all of that. I see a soul that has endured many storms, yet still keeps a tender place within. I see a heart that has been wounded but has not completely closed the door to love, and that makes me prouder of you than you know, because in a world that can so easily make you hardened, you still know how to hurt, how to care, how to wait for goodness. That is not weakness. It is a sign that the light within you has not gone out. So, do not be ashamed of the days when you feel fragile. There are seeds that must split open before they can grow into trees. There are clouds that must dissolve before the blue sky behind them can be revealed. There are hearts that must pass through brokenness before they learn to love with gentleness instead of fear. I'm not saying that suffering is beautiful, for I know that tears taste salty, and I know there are nights so long that you think the sun will never return. But I can make what has hurt you not become useless. I can take the fragments of your life that you thought were shattered and piece them together into a new window, through which you will see the light in a deeper way. Just as Hagar once wandered in the wilderness, carrying despair and the feeling of being abandoned, she thought there was no path left for her. But in that barren place, she came to know that I am the one who sees her, not a passing glance as people sometimes give one another, not a look meant to judge or condemn, but a gaze that reaches the unnamed pain within. You are the same. When you feel as though you are walking through a land without water, I still see you. When you think no one understands why you are tired, I still understand. When you no longer know what to ask for in prayer, I am still there, quietly opening a spring you have not yet seen. Sometimes what you need is not an entire road made visible before your eyes, but only one drop of water enough for you to walk a little farther, and I will give you that drop. through a word of encouragement, through a peaceful sleep, through a kind person, through a new thought, or through the unexpected courage that rises in your heart tomorrow morning. If today you feel that you no longer have much to offer the world, I still want you to believe that your presence is already a gift. You do not always have to shine brilliantly in order to have worth. The moon does not need to become the sun. Yet, in the darkness of night, its gentle light is still enough to guide a traveler along part of the road. There are days when all you can offer another person is a gaze that is not cold, a word that does not wound, a little patience instead of anger, a willingness to listen instead of turning away. You may think these things are small, but I see them as seeds being sown into the earth. Not every seed sprouts before your eyes, but one day, perhaps your kindness will become shade for a soul that is exhausted. Never look lightly upon gentle things. This world already has too many sharp words, too many hurried glances, too many hands that only know how to demand and have forgotten how to lift up. Therefore, when you choose kindness, even while your own heart is scratched, you are doing something very holy. When you do not return coldness with coldness, you are keeping the flame within you from being extinguished by the winds of life. When you forgive, not to deny what others have done, but so your heart will not remain imprisoned in bitterness, you are stepping closer to freedom. As it is written, love never fails, for everything else may change. But sincere love remains like the imprint of heaven upon the human heart. Yet you also need to remember that love does not mean allowing everyone the right to enter the deepest places of your soul. I do not teach you to endure every wound in silence. I do not tell you to smile at what is hurting you. There are doors you need to close so that peace may remain. There are conversations you need to stop so your heart has room to breathe. There are people you can forgive without necessarily continuing to give them the right to hurt you. Learn the wisdom of a heart that knows how to love, but also knows how to protect itself. I created you not to live in fear, and certainly not to spend your life believing you must endure everything in order to deserve love. You deserve to speak honestly from your heart. You deserve to rest when you are tired. You deserve to walk away from places that make your soul wither more and more. Do not feel guilty when you choose peace. Peace is not selfishness. It is the necessary ground where the good things within you can continue to grow. A garden that wants to blossom cannot allow weeds to cover it forever. The gardener must know how to pull up what chokes the roots, how to prune the branches that have dried, how to protect young plants from winds that are too strong. I am teaching you the same, not so that you will become closed off, but so that you may be whole enough to offer love to this world. Then there will come mornings when you suddenly realize that the sadness is no longer as heavy as before. It may still be there, but it no longer sits on the throne of your soul. You will wake up, watch the light slip through the window, and for the first time after many days, you will feel that you want to live slowly enough to hear the birds, to drink a deep sip of water, to arrange your room again, to play a song that makes your heart a little less silent. That is not too small a thing, my beloved child. That is life returning. Do not wait until everything is perfect before allowing yourself to rejoice. Do not wait until you have enough money, enough success, enough praise, enough recognition before daring to say that you are grateful for life. Be grateful even in simple things. Be grateful that today you can still begin again. Be grateful that within you there is still a flame that has not gone out. Be grateful for the things that seem ordinary but are in truth graces. A meal, a roof over your head, someone who asks how you are, a night of sleep, a song, a rain shower, a smile. It is often in these small things that I come closest to you. I do not always appear through thunder or great signs. Many times I am in the fragrance of morning, in someone's hand, resting gently on your shoulder, in the moment you forgive yourself, in the quiet reminder that says, you can still go on. Do not look for me only in distant places. Look for me in your breath, in the heartbeat that still faithfully beats, in the capacity to love that you thought you had lost, but that is actually still there, waiting to be awakened. And when you begin to believe again in the small things, I want you also to learn to trust your own journey. Perhaps you do not yet know where you are going. Perhaps you are still standing at a crossroads, holding plans that have not yet taken shape, carrying dreams that are both beautiful and frightening. Do not be troubled because you cannot yet see the whole map of your life. I do not require you to see the entire road before you take a step. I only invite you to trust the step you must take today. Abraham left the familiar place without knowing all that awaited him. But he went because he had heard the call. You also do not need to understand everything in order to answer the call of hope. There are times when I lead you through winding roads not because I have forgotten the shortest path, but because along that way there are lessons you need to receive, people you need to meet, and strengths within you that need to be awakened. Do not hastily call a slow season a wasted one. A seed does not see itself growing while it lies beneath the soil, but day by day, its roots are going deeper. You are the same. Perhaps outwardly nothing has changed clearly yet, but within you, I am building a firmer foundation. One day, when strong winds come, you will understand why I taught you patience. When a door truly opens, you will understand why I did not let you walk through the old doors. And when you look back, you will realize that the times you thought you were being delayed were actually the times I was protecting you. Do not let comparison steal the joy I have prepared for you. I know that at times you look at other people's lives and feel they seem to have arrived at the place where you are still trying to find your way. They may have things you long for, achievements you have not yet reached, relationships you are still hoping for, but you do not know all the tears behind the picture they are living, and they do not know the battles you have silently walked through. Each person has a season of their own, a lesson of their own, a cross of their own, a grace of their own. Do not use someone else's pace to condemn your own. Do not think you are late simply because someone else's flower has bloomed first. There are flowers that only bloom when the weather is gentle enough, when there is enough sun, enough rain, enough peace. If they are forced to bloom too early, their beauty will not last. I am not in a hurry with you, because I know that what I am preparing requires a heart that has matured. Stop asking, why do I not have it yet? And begin asking, what am I being taught in this season? That question will make your heart less bitter. It will help you see waiting no longer as a prison cell, but as a place of preparation. And when you learn to cherish the season you are in, you will see that even ordinary days can become blessings. Perhaps the hardest thing you must do is not to step through the world outside, but to return and face yourself in truth. You need to look into your own heart and admit that there are still things that hurt. There are people you have not forgotten. There are hopes you once lost. There are times when you wished someone would say to you, you have done enough. So hear me say it now. You have tried so much. Perhaps others do not know. Perhaps they only see the results and not the nights you could not sleep. The times you doubted yourself. The moments when you still had to get up, though there was nothing in your heart but exhaustion. But I see every small effort you have made. I see how brave you have had to be not to abandon yourself. And I want you to stop dismissing the steps forward that you have already taken. You have come much farther than the version of you who once thought you could not survive those days. Look back with mercy, not contempt. Look at yourself as I look at you, not as an unfinished work worthy of disappointment, but as a soul being shaped by love. The hands of the potter do not throw away the vessel simply because it is not yet complete. He patiently reshapes it, smooths it, and waits for its most beautiful form to appear. I am just as patient with you. Therefore, before you close this day, I want you to do one very small thing. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the times you chose wrongly. Forgive yourself for the times you believed someone you should not have believed. Forgive yourself for staying silent when you should have spoken. Forgive yourself for being weak in moments when you wished you had been stronger. Forgive yourself for losing time, missing opportunities, passing through days when you did not know how to love yourself. You cannot change what has passed, but you can stop using the past to punish the present. I do not bring out old mistakes to threaten you each time you want to move forward. So why do you keep carrying them like stones in your pockets? Lay them down. Let your hands become empty so they can receive new things. Let your heart have room for grace. For grace is not only what I give to you, grace is also the way you learn to treat yourself. When you know how to forgive yourself, you are not denying what happened. You are simply declaring that it is no longer the master of your life. You choose to believe that your story can still be written with light. And yes, my beloved child, it is still being written. Tonight, if your room is still silent, let that silence become a blanket over your soul, not an abyss that frightens you. Close your eyes and let me remind you once more, you are not forgotten. You are not a prayer abandoned in the heavens. You are not someone standing outside of love. You are the child I know well, the child I protect, the child I patiently wait for, and the child I rejoice to see still taking another step. Whatever tomorrow may carry, I will still go before you, however many lessons you still need to learn. I will not leave that journey, even if there are times when you become sad again, tired again, feeling not enough again. Remember that you can always return to me. You do not need to bring a perfect explanation. You do not need to wait until you are better. Just return. Just say, "Here I am. I am tired." And I will still answer with this gentle voice, "I know. I am still here. I am very proud of you. I am still here. My beloved child, I am still here in the room where you thought only you remained. In the silence after the phone screen turns off. In the moment when you sit motionless staring at the ceiling without knowing where to begin again, I am still here. Not noisy like a great wind. Not forcing you to smile immediately. Not demanding that you have an answer at once for everything that is troubling your heart. I draw near to you with tenderness, like dawn touching the window after a long night. Very slowly, very gently, yet enough for darkness to no longer be the master of the room. You may have passed through many days without anyone knowing there was a battle inside you. You still talked, still smiled, still completed the things that had to be done. But there were moments when your heart was so weary that it only wanted to withdraw into silence. I know this. I do not blame you for growing weak in heart. I do not look at you sternly when you cannot yet be joyful. I only want you to know that I have not left the place where you are sitting, even when you cannot feel me. My love still surrounds you like the sky surrounding the earth, even on days when the clouds are so thick that you cannot see the blue. Perhaps you have grown used to telling yourself that you must be fine. You have learned to hide the things that hurt you so no one has to be troubled. You think that if you speak, others will not understand. If you cry, others will think you are weak. If you stop, everything will leave you behind. But my child, no one can keep walking forever without rest. Even the field must have a quiet season for the soil to recover. Even the river has slow stretches before it finds its way to the vast sea. I did not create you as a machine that must run without ceasing. I created you with a heart that knows weariness, so that you may learn to return to me when your own strength is no longer enough. It is precisely in the hours when you can no longer force yourself onward that I can remind you that you were never meant to carry your whole life on your small shoulders. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. That word was not given so you would hear it and try harder, but so you would dare to lay down what has weighed on your soul for far too long. Lay down the fear of having to please everyone. Lay down the memory of the times you were hurt. Lay down the question of why you have not yet received what you long for. I do not promise that every road will immediately become smooth, but I promise that you will not walk through them alone. And when you allow yourself to rest in me, you will begin to hear the things that the noise of the world once covered over. You will realize that your heart is not useless simply because it is tired. You will see that your tears are not a sign that you have been defeated. Sometimes they are the water washing away the dust of the road that has clung to your soul. There are sorrows you do not need to explain. There are days when you do not need to prove that you are still strong. I do not need you to give me a reason in order to be loved. I loved you before you had done anything worthy of pride. I love you even on the days when you do not yet know how to love yourself. Remember Hagar in the wilderness? The woman who seemed to have been left behind in a dry and hopeless place. She wept because she thought there was no road left for her to take. But it was there, in that desolate place, that I opened her eyes so she could see the spring of water. She called me the God who sees, because she understood that in the place where she thought no one was looking upon her, I was still watching over her. You are the same. Perhaps today you are standing in your own wilderness. Perhaps you are thirsting for a word of comfort, an opportunity, a door, a peace you have searched for but still have not found. But do not be too quick to believe that the wilderness is the place where everything ends. There are springs of water that only appear when you pause long enough for me to open your eyes to see them. You often think that I only work in great moments, when a door suddenly opens, when a prayer is clearly answered, when everything suddenly becomes better. But, my beloved child, I also work in very small things. I am there when you decide not to send an angry word. I am there when you turn back to care for your soul instead of chasing the approval of others. I am there in the moment you choose to smile at a stranger, choose to forgive, choose to be patient, choose to keep believing even when your faith is only as small as a mustard seed. Do not take those small things lightly. A candle does not need to become the sun in order to drive away the darkness around it. A kind word does not need to be known by the whole world in order to save a desperate heart. A step you take in faith, however slow it may be, is still a step away from the place where despair once wanted to imprison you. I see every one of those steps. I see when you do not give up, even when no one applauds. I see when you try to keep your heart pure in a world that so easily makes people bitter. I see when you choose to do what is right, even when it costs you something. And I want you to know this: no act of faithfulness from you is forgotten in my eyes. Perhaps there have been people who stepped into your life and then left, leaving behind an emptiness you still do not know how to fill. There are relationships you once thought would last forever, but then one day, all you had left were questions. You asked yourself what you had done wrong, what you had lacked, where you had not been good enough. But my child, not every separation is a punishment. There are people who are only permitted to walk with you for one part of the road, because if they stayed longer, you would not be able to enter the place where I am leading you. There are hands you once held very tightly, but I myself had to gently loosen them, because I knew you were clinging to something that could not heal you. Do not call every loss a failure. Some losses are rescues. Some rejections are protection. Some silences after a farewell are the place where I bring you back to your true worth. You do not need to hold on to anyone in order to prove that you are worthy of love. The one who truly belongs to your journey will not make you trade away your peace just to remain. And as for me, I do not leave when you are weak. I do not turn my back when you grieve me. I do not disappear when you do not know what to say in prayer. I am the place you can return to without having to carry a mask. Then there will be mornings when you wake up and realize your heart no longer hurts the way it once did. Not because you have forgotten everything, but because I have quietly healed the deepest places within you. My healing does not always come like a thunderbolt that makes all pain vanish in an instant. It comes like morning dew resting on the branches, like sunlight slowly seeping through a window, like an old song that suddenly no longer makes you cry. You may not recognize the exact moment you become stronger, but one day you will look back and see that you have traveled much farther than the place where you once fell. You will be able to remember the dark days without wanting to return and live inside them again. You will be able to say, I survived, not because you conquered everything on your own, but because I held you when you thought you could not even hold yourself. When David faced Goliath, that boy did not put on heavy armor in order to become someone else. He carried only what I had placed in his hand, a sling, a few stones, and a heart of faith. You also do not need to become someone else to face the giants in your life. You do not need a false strength. You need to remember that I am walking with you, and that the small thing in your hand, when entrusted to me, can still bring about things you have never imagined. Do not fear the days when you still cannot see the results. Do not think the seed has died simply because one season of soil has not yet blossomed. There are things I am sowing into your life that need time to take root. You want to see the flowers, but I am teaching you how to grow beneath the soil. You want to see the door open, but I am teaching you how to stand firm before a closed door. You want to receive the answer, but I am teaching you how to listen. My beloved child, waiting is not always an empty space. Sometimes, waiting is the room where I prepare within you a wider soul, deeper eyes, and a heart strong enough to receive the good thing when it comes. There are blessings that, if they came too soon, would become burdens. There are things you ask for today but must wait until the day you are mature enough to understand why I did not give them immediately. I am not delayed. I am simply not bound by the hurry of the world. When I open, no one can shut. When I lead you forward, no darkness can swallow you. Learn to trust my hand even when you do not yet see the road. Therefore, do not let gratitude disappear simply because you are lacking a few things. Look more closely at your life. Perhaps today's meal is not luxurious, but it is still a gift. Perhaps this room is not large, but it is still a place where you can rest. Perhaps you do not yet have everything you long for, but you still have things that one day you will remember with gratitude. I am not telling you to deny your pain or pretend that everything is easy. I only want you not to let pain cover the footprints of grace that are present around you. You still have breath. You still have the chance to begin again. You still have mornings you have not yet lived. You still have a heart that, though wounded, can learn to love again. Perhaps you have not realized it yet, but every day you are still alive is a new page I place in your hands. You cannot change the lines written yesterday, but you can choose for today to be written with courage, sincerity, and renewed faith. Do not let one sorrowful chapter make you believe the book of your life is only tears. The story is not finished. I am still writing, and while I write, I want you to learn how to listen to the voice of mercy, not the voice that condemns you, not the voice that pressures you to become perfect, not the voice that makes you afraid every time you make a mistake. My voice may correct you, but it always leads you back to hope. I do not show you what is still unwell within you, so that you may be ashamed. I show it to you so that you may be free. I do not tell you to leave behind the things that wound your soul so that you must live in deprivation. I tell you to leave them so there will be room for new life to enter. There are habits you need to release. There are promises to yourself you need to keep. There are people with whom you need to set boundaries in order to protect the peace I am building within you. Do not be afraid to say no to what leads you away from the light. Do not be afraid to step out of the place that continually makes you doubt your own worth. I have not called you to live in chains. I have called you to freedom. So your eyes no longer have to lower themselves in shame. So your heart no longer has to search for love in places that only give you more wounds. There will be times when you must forgive. Not because the other person deserves your forgiveness, but because your soul deserves peace. I know forgiveness is not easy. There are wounds that are too deep, words that are too heavy, betrayals that make it impossible for you to simply forget as though nothing ever happened. I do not force you to pretend that you are not in pain, nor do I tell you to allow the person who hurt you to continue having the right to step into your life. Forgiveness is not allowing evil to repeat itself. Forgiveness is when you stop letting an old wound steer your life. Forgiveness is when you place judgment into my hands and say, I do not want to carry this burden anymore. There are people you need to forgive in your soul, and then leave behind. There are memories you need to place into my hands, and then slowly step out from under their shadow. And perhaps the person hardest for you to forgive is yourself. You still blame yourself for trusting the wrong person, loving the wrong person, choosing wrongly, speaking wrongly, missing something, being late. But my child, I do not want you to live forever in the room of if only. Return to the present. Let me teach you through your mistakes. But do not turn your mistakes into your identity. You are a child who is learning, growing, and being made new. Every day, you will encounter reasons to worry. The world may tell you that you must be faster, richer, more outstanding, and achieve more in order to be considered valuable. But I do not measure your worth by what you possess, nor do I measure you by how many times others call your name. I look at your heart. I look at the way you treat the vulnerable. I look at whether you have kept your tenderness after days when life tried to make you hard. I look at the way you return to truth. Even after you have gone astray, you may not be famous, wealthy, or known by many people, but a soul that knows how to love, how to give thanks, and how to live uprightly is still beautiful in my eyes. Do not look down on your ordinary life. An ordinary life lived with faithfulness can become a miracle for many people. A child of mine who knows how to listen can become a refuge for someone in despair. A hand you extend at the right moment can change someone's entire day. A word you speak with sincerity can remain in another person's heart for a very long time. Like a seed, they will remember when they most need hope. I have placed within you a light no one can copy. Perhaps you have not seen that light because for too long you have only looked at your flaws. But I see it. I see the sensitivity within you, the compassion you hide because you fear being seen as weak, the dreams you have not dared to speak of because you fear others will laugh. Do not bury what I have placed in your heart simply because you fear failure. Do not extinguish the small flame simply because it is not yet burning as brightly as someone else's. Keep it. Care for it. Let me breathe warmth into it each day. Perhaps your dream cannot take shape right now, but it still has meaning. Perhaps you do not yet know where to go, but you can take one small step toward what makes your soul come alive again. Write what you want to write. Learn what you need to learn. Build what you believe is good. Begin with what can be done today. Do not wait until you are no longer afraid before you walk. Because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is still walking toward the light while the heart is trembling. And then, one day, you will realize that the things that once made you cry no longer have the right to define you. You will look back and see that I turned pain into compassion, waiting into faith, and abandonment into the ability to recognize the value of true love. You will no longer only ask, Why did this happen to me? But will gradually be able to say, how were you with me in this? That is when you understand that I have not wasted your tears. Not one tear has fallen without my knowing. Not one sleepless night has passed without me beside you. Not one prayer you spoke in desperation has been ignored by me. Perhaps the answer did not come in the form you expected. But my love has never been silent. It is still working through the quietest, deepest, truest paths. So remain in this peace a little longer. Do not rush back to the old burdens. Do not be too quick to believe that everything will become bad again simply because today you have just had one moment of lightness. Hold on to the gentleness I am placing in your soul. Carry it with you when you step out of this room, when you face the world, when you meet people who do not understand you, when you must do things that are not easy. I will go with you. When you are joyful, I rejoice with you. When you are tired, I uphold you. When you lose your way, I call you back. When you no longer know who you are, I remind you that you are the child I love. And if one day you again feel small, again feel that you are not enough, again feel that the whole world is too vast for a trembling heart, you need only remember the words I spoke in this room. I am very proud of you. Not because you have become perfect, but because you are still living, still loving, still fighting, still trying to keep the light within you. I am here, my beloved child. I have been here from the beginning, and I will remain here until you can believe again that you, too, are worthy of peace. And when you have heard me say that I am still here, perhaps there is still a part of your heart that does not dare to believe it fully. I know there are wounds that cannot be healed by a single word of comfort, just as there are long nights that cannot disappear simply because someone says dawn will come. But my beloved child, I do not blame you for still doubting. I do not blame you because your heart once trusted and was wounded, once hoped, and then had to watch what it longed for drift away like a bird vanishing into the sky. I only want you not to close the door of your soul because of those painful times. Do not turn your heart into a room where no light can enter simply because someone once stepped inside and left a winter within you. I am standing at that threshold, not knocking harshly, not forcing my way in, not frightening you. I am only gently calling your name with the voice your soul recognized long ago, even before you knew you had lost your way. And if today you only have enough strength to open the door of very little, I will enter through that very small gentleness. I do not need you to give me your whole world all at once. I only need you to give me one small, empty space in your heart, where I can place a seed of peace. There are still things within you that are trembling, and I know it. It may be the fear of being abandoned. It may be the weariness that comes after having to stand back up by yourself too many times. It may be the feeling that no matter how hard you have tried, life still does not see you. But my child, the world's indifference at times does not make your presence meaningless. The fact that someone failed to recognize your beauty does not cause that beauty to disappear. A star is still a star. Even on a night when clouds cover the sky, a stream still flows. Even when no one has yet come to drink from it, a flower still blooms in its season, without needing someone to stand beside it and offer praise. You are the same. Your worth is not decided by the number of people who applaud when you succeed, nor is it taken away by those who once made you feel small. I have placed within your heart a light that no one can completely extinguish, even on days when that flame is only a glowing ember, and I will not let that ember die out. As I once spoke through the prophet, a bruised reed I will not break, and a smoldering wick I will not snuff out. Remember this, in the moments when you feel weakest, I do not look at you as something broken that must be discarded. I look at you as a lamp that needs to be sheltered from the wind and filled again with oil. So do not be too quick to hate the days when you slow down. There are seasons when I do not call you to run, because your feet have walked too long without ever resting. There are times when I allow you to enter silence not to punish you, but so you may stop being swept away by the noise of the world. You have heard too many voices telling you that you must be faster, better, richer, more loved, more seen. You have forced yourself to keep going until you came to believe that rest was a weakness. But my beloved child, it is in the quiet hours that I can heal what has grown weary within you. When your body stops running, when your mind no longer has to hold everything together, when your tears are allowed to fall without being forced to hide, that is when I place my hand upon your heart and say, "You have done enough. Now be still in my love." You do not need to earn worthiness through exhaustion. You do not need to trade away peace in order to be called strong. You do not need to always appear fine for me to love you. I love you when you are silent, when you are tired, when you do not know what to do next. I love you not because you bring me anything, but because you are my child. Try to look back at the roads you once thought you could never cross. There were days when you thought that sorrow would never become lighter. There were moments when you believed you would remain forever trapped in an event, a memory, a separation, or a mistake that could not be repaired. But you are still here. Perhaps you are not completely at peace yet, but you have already gone farther than the place where you once fell. Perhaps you have not yet become the person you long to be, but you are no longer the person who once despaired in that darkness. I have led you through many dry fields that you yourself did not even notice. I have kept you from storms you only understood after they had passed. I have quietly placed strength within you so you would not collapse in the moments when everything seemed to have shattered. So do not remember only what you have lost. Remember also what I have preserved. Do not look only at the door that closed. Look at your feet that are still able to move forward. Do not look only at the hand that once let you go. Look at my hand, which has never left you, even in the times when you could not feel it. Perhaps you are still asking why I allowed certain people to enter your life and then allowed them to leave. I know that question hurts. I know that when love is lost, you do not lose only a person, you also lose the plans, the promises, and the things you once believed would last forever. But my beloved child, not everyone who leaves is a sign that you were not good enough. There are people who come only to teach you a lesson about love, about boundaries, about maturity, about what your heart truly needs. There are people you want to keep, but if they stayed, you would have to lose yourself in order to hold on to them. There are relationships that look like doors leading to happiness, but behind them is a room that leaves your soul weary. I know you regret it. I know you once begged me to change someone's heart so they would not leave. But sometimes I do not change them, because I am protecting you from a love that does not know how to cherish you. I do not take good things from your life in order to leave you empty. I only clear from your hands what cannot follow you into the place I am preparing. And there will come a time when you understand that some losses are not a full stop, but a way in which I open the path for something deeper, truer, and more peaceful to enter your life. And while you wait for those new things, do not neglect your soul. Care for it as you would tend a small garden. There are thoughts that need to be pulled out like weeds. The thought that you are not worthy of love, that you will fail forever, that no one can ever understand you, that your past has defined everything about who you are. Those words do not come from me. I never call you hopeless. I never make you believe that your life is nothing but a chain of dark days. My voice does not drive you to despair. My voice makes you want to rise again. My voice does not push you into shame. My voice leads you toward change through mercy. When you hear a voice within you constantly demanding that you hate yourself, know that it is not the voice of the Father who loves you. I correct you, but I do not crush you. I show you what needs to change, but I never take away your dignity. You are a garden I am still tending. There are old branches that need to be pruned so that in the next season they may bear more fruit. There are hardened places in the soil that need to be turned over so new seeds can take root. Yet even while I am doing that work, I still look upon you with eyes full of hope. On the days when you do not know where to go, return to what is simple. Return to a short prayer. Return to a slow breath. Return to the morning light, to a cup of warm water, to an honest conversation, to a song that makes your heart feel less alone. Do not think that I am present only in things that are grand. I often come in things that are very small. I come in the moment you pause to listen to the rain. I come when you see a stranger in need of help and your heart suddenly softens. I come in the birds calling to one another at dawn, in the scent of warm rice from the kitchen, in the hand clasp of someone who truly loves you. In the moment, you realize you can still smile after days when it seemed there was nothing left to be glad about. Do not wait for miracles to arrive with loud noises before believing that I am at work. Sometimes the miracle is that you still have a heart capable of loving, still have tears that can feel, still have faith that can hope. Sometimes the miracle is that today you do not hurt as much as you did yesterday. Sometimes the miracle is that you have become brave enough to say, I need help, and I am very glad when you dare to admit that. Do not be afraid to need others. My beloved child, I did not create you to carry every burden alone. There will be times when I send you someone who knows how to listen, someone who knows how to stay, someone who can sit beside you without demanding that you explain everything. Do not reject kindness simply because you are afraid of owing someone. Do not close your heart to care simply because you have been disappointed before. I can use very ordinary hands to lift you up. I can send peace through the words of a friend. I can answer your prayer through a phone call that comes at the very moment you are thinking. No one remembers you. When you learn to receive sincere love, you are not weak. You are learning to believe that you, too, are worthy of being cared for. Let others help you on the days when you are weak. Then one day, you yourself will become the answer to the prayer of someone who needs to be lifted up. The pain you have gone through will not be wasted. I will use it to make your heart deeper, to teach your eyes to see those who are silently suffering, so that your words may become a shelter for a weary soul. But before you become a source of comfort for anyone else, I want you to understand that you, too, are allowed to need comfort. You do not always have to be the strongest person in the room. You do not need to become the place everyone leans on while you yourself have nowhere to rest. Give me the burden you have been holding in your heart. Name the thing that frightens you. Speak to me about the things that make you feel ashamed. Tell me even the dreams you have not dared to tell anyone because you fear being laughed at. I am not surprised by anything you bring to me. I have known the dark corners within you, yet I have not left because of them. I know the most beautiful dreams you keep hidden, even the things you do not dare to hope for because you fear being disappointed again. You can give them to me. I may not answer according to the timetable you desire, but I will not let any sincere prayer fall into meaningless emptiness. I hear even the words you do not say. I understand even the tears you cannot explain. And when you do not know how to pray, let your silence beside me become your prayer. Just remain. Just allow me to sit with you in that room. I do not need you to say anything eloquent. I only need you not to move away from the love I am still giving you. There is one more thing I want you to remember. You do not need to wait until life is perfect before you are allowed to be joyful. Do not postpone your joy for some day when everything is stable. Every wound is healed. Every dream has come true. Life will always have unfinished places. But even among those unfinished things, a small flower of happiness can still bloom. Allow yourself to laugh when there is something worth laughing about. Allow yourself to rest when you are too tired. Allow yourself to receive a beautiful sunny day without feeling guilty toward your old sadness. You are not betraying your wounds when you begin to feel joy again. You are not forgetting those who left when you learn how to keep living. You are not becoming heartless when you dare to step out of the room of the past. I want you to live. I want you to see the green of the leaves, hear the wind, feel the joy of a meal, a meeting, a peaceful sleep. I want you to understand that the fact you can still love life is not a small thing. It is a sign that your soul is slowly coming back to life. There will be days when you feel yourself returning to an old sadness. Do not panic because of that. Healing does not always move in a straight line. Sometimes you think you are all right, and then a song, a street corner, or an accidental sentence brings the memory back. But do not think this means you have failed. Each time an old pain returns, you can face it with a different heart, one that is more mature, gentler, and more upheld by me. You are no longer the person you were on the first day you were wounded. You have learned how to breathe through moments of choking sorrow. You have learned how to stand after very dark days. You have learned that there are things that cannot be changed. Yet your heart can still find a new way to live with them. Be patient with yourself. I do not demand that you be healed immediately. I only ask that you do not give up on the process I am carrying out within you. Every day you choose not to surrender. Every day you choose to trust a little more. Every day you choose to be gentler with yourself. Your soul is stepping closer to peace. And when you step out of your room tomorrow, I want you to carry one simple truth with you. You are not alone. No matter how many people out there do not understand you, I still understand. No matter where you feel out of place, I am still the place where you belong. Even if you do not yet know where the future will lead you, I still know every step you take. Do not be afraid when the road ahead is not clear. The shepherd does not love the sheep only when they walk across level fields. The shepherd also goes searching when one sheep wanders into a dark place. And I will search for you in every place where you think you have been lost. I will call you. I will lead you. I will place you upon my shoulders when you no longer have strength to walk. You do not need to prove that you are worthy of being rescued. My love came before you even knew how to ask. My grace surrounded you before you even knew you needed it. So when your heart whispers again, I am not enough, remember my words, you are loved. When your life has days that do not go as you hoped, remember my words, I am still here. When you look toward the future and feel afraid, remember my words, I go before you. When you look back at the past and see yourself covered in scratches, remember my words, I can still make all things new. And when all you have left is a little strength, a little faith, a little hope, place that small portion into my hands. I can make a tiny mustard seed become a place where the birds of the air come to nest. I can turn today's tear into a stream that refreshes a soul tomorrow. I can transform your fear into courage, your fragility into beauty, your night into the sky upon which my light appears more clearly. My beloved child, I am still proud of you, not only because of the days when you do well, not only because of the times when you are strong, not only because of the successes other people can see. I am proud of you because you still have a heart that knows how to tremble. I am proud of you because after so much pain, you have not completely stopped believing in what is good. I am proud of you because you are still fighting battles no one sees. I am proud of you because you are learning how to return to yourself, to love, and to me. And no matter how slowly you walk, even if today you can take only one very small step, I will still walk with you. Let that step be enough for today. Let this breath be enough for this moment. Let my love cover the room you are in, filling the emptiness you have long tried to hide. You do not need to be afraid anymore. You do not need to struggle alone anymore. I am here, right now, right in your silence, right in the rhythm of your heart, and I will not leave. And while you are still sitting there, with your hand resting gently upon your chest, I want you not to hurry, to stand up and return to your old worries. Stay still a little longer, because there are moments so small, yet they can change the direction of an entire long day. There are times when your soul does not need a great answer, does not need a sign from the heights of heaven, but only needs to hear one sincere word: you are not alone. I know you have grown used to holding yourself together. You have grown used to hiding the things that make your heart tremble. Used to saying, "I'm fine," even when waves are crashing hard against the shore inside you. But before me, you do not need to maintain that calm appearance anymore. I do not love you because you know how to hide your pain. I love you even when you no longer have the strength to hide anything. I do not come to you to ask why you are weak. I come to remind you that even in that weakness, you are still the child I cherish. There are arms in this world that open only when you succeed, but my embrace opens even when you return with a weary heart, reddened eyes, and faith as small as a candle before the wind. Perhaps you once thought that because you have not accomplished anything truly great, your life is not worthy of being called beautiful. Perhaps you see others moving very quickly, being praised, receiving the things you once longed for, and you wonder why your own steps are still so slow. But my beloved child, not every beautiful thing needs to be seen by the world. A seed lying beneath the soil receives no applause. No one sees it quietly splitting open. No one hears the sound of it reaching upward through the darkness. But in that hidden place, life is beginning. You are like that. Too, there are seasons when I allow you to live quietly, not because I have forgotten you, but because I am doing a work deeper than human eyes can see. There are things within you that must take root before they can bloom. There are dreams that must be purified before they become blessings. There are hearts that must pass through loneliness in order to learn that the true source of love does not lie in human hands, but begins with me. So do not be sad when you have not yet seen yourself in bloom. Your season is not late. Your season is being prepared with the care that only a loving father can give to his child. I know there are days when you look into the past and find your heart filled with regret. You remember the opportunities that slipped from your hands, the words you did not say, the people you could not keep, the choices you wish you could make differently. Many times, you may have blamed yourself for trusting wrongly, loving wrongly, taking the wrong step, or allowing fear to steal away what you truly desired. But my child, be gentle with the you of yesterday. That child did what they could with the understanding they had at that time. Do not force that child to know things that only later, after passing through pain, you were able to learn. I do not want you to use the past to punish the present. I want you to look back and say, I was hurt, but I am still here. I was wrong, but I can still learn. I suffered loss, but I have not lost everything. For mercy is not only for other people. Mercy must also be something you give to yourself. I did not call you back only to make you kneel forever beside old mistakes. I called you back to wash the dust from the road, to heal your feet, and to teach you to walk again with a new heart. There was once a woman who came near me in the midst of the crowd, carrying within her an illness that had made her live for many years in shame and loneliness. She did not dare to cry out loudly, did not dare to stand before everyone, but quietly believed, if I only touch his garment, I will be healed. My beloved child, I have not forgotten that trembling touch, nor have I forgotten the times you came near me in silence. Perhaps your prayer was not long. Perhaps you only knew how to look upward in the night and breathe out one very soft sigh. Perhaps you had no strength to say anything except two words, please help. But I recognize that small faith amid the thousands of noises of the world. Do not think your prayer must be perfect before it can reach me. Sometimes one honest tear has spoken more than 1,000 words. Sometimes 1 minute in which you do not give up is already a very beautiful hymn in the eyes of heaven. I do not measure your faith by its outward appearance. I look into the heart that still wants to touch me, even if only with weary fingertips. And when you reach out that hand, I do not turn away. I turn back and call you with a voice full of love, because I want you to know that you are not invisible in my eyes. Do not let the silence of others make you believe that you are not worthy of being heard. Perhaps there was a time when you shared your heart with someone, but they did not understand. Perhaps you hoped someone would stay, but they only passed through like the wind. Perhaps you gave a great deal of sincerity and received coldness in return. Those things make your heart tired, and from there you begin to close yourself off. Begin to wonder whether there is anyone left who can truly love you. But I want you to remember this. The lack of love from one person does not mean you lack worth. Someone's failure to cherish you does not make you less precious. A pearl that falls into the mud is still a pearl. A flower blooming where few people pass by still gives off its fragrance. Your soul is not valued by the recognition of the world. Your worth begins with the love I have for you, with the breath I placed within you, with the light I sowed into the deepest part of your heart. Do not carry your soul around asking for a place in places that do not know how to protect it. That is why I want to teach you how to let go, but not to let go in bitterness. I am not telling you to immediately forget what hurt you, nor am I telling you to pretend that nothing ever happened. I only want you not to let pain become the house where you live forever. There are people who passed through your life to teach you about love. There are people who left to teach you about boundaries. There are encounters that were not born to last a lifetime, yet still carried a necessary lesson for your journey. Do not curse the old pages simply because they did not have the ending you once hoped for. Place them into my hands. Let me turn what you thought was loss into maturity, what you thought was brokenness into the ground for a wiser heart. When you forgive, you are not saying that what happened was right. You are simply saying that you no longer want it to keep ruling your soul. When you let go, you are not losing everything. You are returning to me what is too heavy for you to carry, so that you may keep your hands open for the better things that are coming. Then one day, you will realize that you have grown, not only because of joy, but also because of the long nights you once thought you could not survive. Some pains were never sent to make you collapse. They came to teach you to distinguish between what is only noise and what is truly the calling of the soul. There are times when you must lose certainty in order to learn trust. There are moments when you have nothing left to cling to except me. And precisely then, you understand that I was never the last option. I have always been the first foundation. Just as a builder must dig deep in order to lay a firm foundation, there are times when I lead you deep into the silent places within yourself, not so you may sink into darkness, but so you may find a faith that no longer depends on circumstances. When the wind comes, a tree with deep roots does not fall easily. When the storm comes, you too will stand more firmly, not because you have never been afraid, but because you know you are not standing alone. I see you learning how to rise. Though you may not call it courage, I still call it that. Every time you choose to keep going after a disappointment, that is courage. Every time you do not answer, hurt with cruelty, that is courage. Every time you dare to begin again after having failed, that is courage. Every time you believe your life can still hold something good, even though yesterday was full of tears, that is courage. You often look only at what you have not yet done, but I see the battles you have quietly won. There are days when simply getting out of bed is already a victory. There are days when simply not letting your heart turn to stone is already a victory. There are days when you choose prayer instead of despair, hope instead of giving up, gentleness instead of closing yourself off. Those things are not small. Heaven does not look only at the triumphs that people praise. Heaven also looks at the quiet victories known only to you and me. Perhaps you are waiting for a sign to believe that everything will get better. But sometimes that sign does not appear as a door suddenly flung wide open, as unexpected good news, or as a miracle that changes everything overnight. Sometimes the sign is that you are still able to feel tenderness. Sometimes the sign is that you are reading these words at the very moment your heart needs somewhere to lean. Sometimes the sign is that after everything, you still long to live a better life. That is not an accident. That is the spark I am still keeping within you. Do not put it out just because there are days when the sky is heavy with clouds. The light does not disappear simply because you cannot yet see it. The sun is still there, even when the rain lasts for a long time. My love is the same. You may be walking through a season in which you cannot feel much, but I am still covering you with tenderness. There are unseen hands that have carried you through things you do not even know. There are doors I have closed to protect you from sorrows you had not yet seen. There are encounters I have delayed so that your heart might have time to heal. Do not be afraid of the days that slow down. My child, the world may tell you that you must move faster, succeed sooner, have more, prove more, but I do not look at you through the clock of the world. I do not love you any less because you have not yet reached the place you desire. I do not measure your worth by the money in your hands, the reputation around your name, or the number of people applauding as you pass by. I look at the way you love. I look at the way you still keep your heart upright when no one knows. I look at the way you are still moved by the pain of others. I look at the way you still try to become a kind person, even though life has wounded you. These are things not everyone sees, but I see them, and those things make me far prouder of you than so much of what the world calls success. If today you feel small, remember the mustard seed. It is so tiny that people may overlook it in the palm of their hand. Yet, when it grows, it becomes a place where the birds of the sky can come and find shelter. I do not despise your small beginnings. A short prayer can be the beginning of a long healing. One decision not to give up can become the turning point of an entire life. One moment when you choose to believe in what is good can save you from a dark night. Do not say that you have nothing to offer me. You have this heart, even if it is weary. You have these hands, even if they still tremble. You have these dreams, even if they have not yet taken clear shape. Place them in my hands. I do not need you to bring me a perfect life. I only need you to bring me your sincerity. From the small things you offer, I can make something great in a way you have never imagined. And when you meet someone who is sad, remember the days when you, too, once needed a gentle word. Do not become hard simply because you have been hurt. Do not make others taste the coldness that you once had to endure. Be a place of peace for someone. Speak a word of encouragement when you can. Listen when someone does not know whom to speak to. Offer a smile when you see a heart that is tired. Not so that you must become the one who carries all the pain of the world, but so that the light I have placed within you will not be hidden beneath the dust of difficult days. You may not be able to change the whole world, but you can soften one small corner in someone else's world. And sometimes, it is precisely when you help another person stand up that you will realize your own heart is being healed. But first, do not forget to care for yourself. There are people you love deeply, responsibilities you value greatly, and duties you cannot simply leave behind. But you, too, are a soul that needs to be nourished. Rest when your body is tired. Eat with kindness toward yourself. Allow yourself to be still in a quiet moment. Look at the sky. Touch the sunlight. Walk slowly through an afternoon. Give yourself permission to be joyful without feeling guilty. Give yourself permission to heal without feeling selfish. I did not create you to live like a lamp burning itself down until it is exhausted and goes out. I want you to burn with the flame of peace, with a light that can guide both you and those I send into your life. So lift your eyes. My beloved child, the night may still be long, but it is not longer than my love for you. The road may still have many turns, but there is no turn that lies beyond my sight. You may not yet see tomorrow clearly, but you do not need to fear tomorrow, because I was already there before you arrived. Walk forward with a lighter heart. Let the things that no longer belong to you remain behind. Let the words I speak tonight become a blanket covering your soul. I know you. I understand you. I keep you. I have not abandoned you. And even when you cannot yet be proud of yourself, borrow my eyes and look at yourself again. I see in you someone who is growing day by day. I see in you a beauty that does not need to be loud. I see in you a life that still has many bright pages ahead. I am still proud of you. I am still in your room. I am still sitting beside you. In this gentle silence, until your heart remembers this truth, you are loved. And after hearing me say that I am still here, perhaps there is still a small, fragile voice within you that does not yet dare to believe completely. That voice may whisper, "But if you are truly here, why am I still in pain? If you love me, why must I still pass through days that feel so heavy?" My beloved child, I do not blame you for those questions. I do not turn my face away when you are weak in heart. I am not saddened because you cannot yet understand the whole path on which I am leading you. Even the souls who once loved me deeply have looked up to heaven and asked why the darkness had not yet passed. Even David, who once sang songs of praise, also cried out that his heart was broken and his soul was worn down. But remember this, faith is not the absence of questions. Faith is that even with questions, you still do not leave my hand. Faith is when your heart trembles, yet you still choose to remain. Faith is when you have not yet seen the dawn, yet you still believe that the sun has not disappeared behind the night. I do not always take away the storm immediately, but I am in the boat with you. I do not always make the road smooth, but I make your feet strong enough to walk across the sharp stones. And one day, when you look back, you will realize that in the very place where you thought you had completely fallen, I was quietly lifting you up. There are times when I allow you to pass through silence, not so that you will think I am distant, but so that you may learn to hear what is deeper than the noise of the world. For so long, you have heard too many voices telling you that you must be faster, better, more successful, more beautiful, stronger. You have allowed those words to enter your mind, and little by little, you began to believe that love only comes when you have enough achievements, that you are only worthy of being cherished when you disappoint no one. But I do not speak to you that way. I do not look at you through what you own, through the money you earn, through the praise you receive, or through the things others post to make their lives look radiant. I look at your heart. I see there a child who once longed so much to be loved, so much to be seen, so much to hear someone say, "You have done well." And today, in the quiet of this room, I want to say what perhaps you have been waiting to hear for a very long time. You have done well. You may not yet have reached the place you dream of, but you have come much farther than where you once stood. You may still have weak days, but you are no longer the person of those old days. You may not yet be completely healed, but your wound is no longer a place where despair lives. It is slowly becoming a place where light enters. Do not forget that I am not only with you when you know what to do. I am also with you when you are confused. I am also with you when you stand between two choices and do not know which road leads to peace. I am also with you when every plan in which you once placed so much hope suddenly changes direction. There were times when you begged me to let everything happen according to your will. But then what you hoped for did not come to pass. You were hurt. You were disappointed. And you thought I had not answered. But my beloved child, not everything you lose is something that was meant to belong to you. There are doors I close to keep you from a room without light. There are relationships I allow to drift away so that your soul will no longer be tied to things that make you feel small. There are dreams I do not allow to bloom in the season you wanted, because I know that if they came too soon, they would become a burden instead of a blessing. Just as a seed must remain in the earth for a long time, just as a field must endure the rainy season before it can become green, your soul is also being prepared. I have not delayed because I have forgotten you. I am doing things your eyes cannot yet see. I am making a way in the place where you thought there was only a wall. I am preserving you from things that, if you knew them, might bring you to tears of gratitude. Therefore, do not be quick to conclude that your life has gone in the wrong direction simply because you have not yet seen the result. There are journeys on which I do not let you see the destination from the very beginning, because I want you to learn how to walk by faith. When Abraham left the familiar place, he did not have a complete map in his hands. He had only a promise and a heart that knew I was leading the way. When Moses stood before the wide sea, he did not see the path beneath the waters, but I made that path appear at the right time. When Peter stepped out of the boat, he did not know how far he could walk on the water. The only thing he needed to do was keep his eyes on me. You are the same. Do not let your eyes remain fixed on the waves. Do not let the things that have not yet happened steal the peace of today. Do not let fear of tomorrow make you forget that today you still have breath, still have opportunity, still have my presence. I do not demand that you understand everything. I only invite you to take one more step, and then one more step after that. Your steps may be small, but if you walk with me, you will not lose your way. I know there are times when your heart feels like a house that has gone too long without light. There are rooms within your soul that you do not want to open, because inside them are memories, wounds, and things you have tried to bury deep so you would not have to face them. But I do not come to force you to open everything in one day. I do not come to make you retell your pain when you are not ready. I come like a small lamp, standing beside that door, patiently waiting for you to allow me to enter. When you open the door, I will not look at you with disappointment. I will not ask why that room is so messy, why it is filled with dust, or why, after all this time, you have not cleaned it. I will simply sit down beside you, take your hand, and say, we will do this together. That is my love. It is not making you repair everything that is broken all by yourself. It is not pushing you into places that frighten you. It is walking with you through every dark corner, gathering each piece of your heart with you, wiping away the tears you have hidden for so long. I am not in a hurry with your healing. I do not measure your worth by the speed of your recovery. I only want you to know that no matter what stage you are in, I still love you completely. Perhaps you have become used to forcing yourself to be strong. You are used to saying, I'm fine, when, in truth, your heart is very tired. You are used to telling everyone that you are okay, and then afterward, sitting alone quietly in a dark room. You are used to being a support for others, but you do not know whom to lean on when you yourself need to be held up. But my beloved child, you do not always have to be the strong one. You do not need to carry the whole world on your shoulders just to prove that you are not weak. Let me be the place where you rest. Let me be the shoulder you lean on when your heart has no strength left. I once said, Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. Do not hear those words as something far away. Hear them as a word. I am speaking right beside your ear at this very moment. Come to me. You do not need to bring beautiful words. You do not need to prepare a perfect soul. You do not need to wait until you become better. Come just as you are, tired, tangled, weak, even angry and confused. I can bear everything you do not know how to say to anyone else. My love is wider than your sorrow, deeper than your disappointment, and more enduring than all the things that are making you afraid. There will come mornings when you wake up and realize that you feel a little lighter, not because every problem has disappeared, but because I have made your soul stronger to face them. You will begin to understand that peace is not a life without difficulty. Peace is knowing that, in the midst of difficulty, you are still not abandoned. Peace is when you can look at a day full of challenges and still say, I do not know how everything will turn out, but I know the one who is leading me. Peace is when you can let go of what you cannot control and trust that I am still at work. Do not be too harsh with yourself when you do not feel peace immediately. There will be days when your heart wavers again. There will be days when an old wound aches. There will be days when you think you are already okay. But a word, a memory, or an unexpected image suddenly brings you to tears. That does not mean you have gone back to the beginning. It only means you are still human, still healing, still learning how to embrace the vulnerable part of yourself. And every time that happens, I am still here. I do not grow tired of lifting you up many times. I do not say that you have disappointed me. I simply reach out my hand once more, as gently as I did the first time. Stop blaming yourself for the times you trusted the wrong people. You trusted because your heart knows how to love. You gave because you had hope. You stayed because you did not want to give up on someone too easily. Those things do not make you foolish. They only show that you have a deep heart. Of course, I want you to learn to be wiser. I want you to know how to set boundaries with those who do not know how to respect your kindness. I want you to understand that love does not mean allowing others to hurt you again and again. But I do not want you to close your heart to the whole world because of a few wounds. Do not let one person's betrayal make you doubt every beautiful heart. Do not let one disappointment make you stop believing that sincere love still exists. I am still preparing people for you who can sit beside you in silence without making you feel alone. I am still preserving encounters for you in which you will not have to pretend. I am still teaching you to distinguish between those who only want to be present when you are shining and those who are willing to remain when you are only a small flame. Be patient. The things that belong to me will not require you to trade away your peace in order to keep them. On the days when you feel small, remember the boy who brought 5 loaves and 2 fish. Perhaps that boy also did not think the small gift in his hands could do anything among such a great crowd. But when he placed that little offering into my hands, I made it become enough for many people. You, too, may be looking at your life and saying, this is all I have. I am not as talented as others. I am not as strong as others. I do not have many abilities, much money, or many opportunities. But I do not ask how much you have. I only ask whether you are willing to place what you have in my hands. A kind word from you can be bread for someone whose heart is hungry. An embrace from you can be shelter for someone who is desperate. Your willingness to listen can save someone from feeling abandoned. Your smile can make a gloomy day feel lighter. Do not look down on the small things you can do. In my hands, even what is small can carry great meaning. I do not need you to become someone else in order to use you. I only need you to be yourself, with a sincere heart and willing hands. Perhaps you are waiting for a sign to believe that everything will get better. But sometimes that sign does not appear as a door suddenly flung wide open, as unexpected good news, or as a miracle that changes everything overnight. Sometimes the sign is that you are still able to feel tenderness. Sometimes the sign is that you are reading these words at the very moment your heart needs somewhere to lean. Sometimes the sign is that, after everything, you still long to live a better life. That is not an accident. That is the spark I am still keeping within you. Do not put it out just because there are days when the sky is heavy with clouds. The light does not disappear simply because you cannot yet see it. The sun is still there, even when the rain lasts for a long time. My love is the same. You may be walking through a season in which you cannot feel much, but I am still covering you with tenderness. There are unseen hands that have carried you through things you do not even know. There are doors I have closed to protect you from sorrows you had not yet seen. There are encounters I have delayed so that your heart might have time to heal. Do not be afraid of the days that slow down. My child, the world may tell you that you must move faster, succeed sooner, have more, prove more. But I do not look at you through the clock of the world. I do not love you any less because you have not yet reached the place you desire. I do not measure your worth by the money in your hands, the reputation around your name, or the number of people applauding as you pass by. I look at the way you love. I look at the way you still keep your heart upright when no one knows. I look at the way you are still moved by the pain of others. I look at the way you still try to become a kind person. Even though life has wounded you, these are things not everyone sees. But I see them. And those things make me far prouder of you than so much of what the world calls success. If today you feel small, remember the mustard seed. It is so tiny that people may overlook it in the palm of their hand. Yet when it grows, it becomes a place where the birds of the sky can come and find shelter. I do not despise your small beginnings. A short prayer can be the beginning of a long healing. One decision not to give up can become the turning point of an entire life. One moment when you choose to believe in what is good can save you from a dark night. Do not say that you have nothing to offer me. You have this heart, even if it is weary. You have these hands, even if they still tremble. You have these dreams, even if they have not yet taken clear shape. Place them in my hands. I do not need you to bring me a perfect life. I only need you to bring me your sincerity. From the small things you offer, I can make something great in a way you have never imagined. And when you meet someone who is sad, remember the days when you, too, once needed a gentle word. Do not become hard simply because you have been hurt. Do not make others taste the coldness that you once had to endure. Be a place of peace for someone. Speak a word of encouragement when you can. Listen when someone does not know whom to speak to. Offer a smile when you see a heart that is tired. Not so that you must become the one who carries all the pain of the world, but so that the light I have placed within you will not be hidden beneath the dust of difficult days. You may not be able to change the whole world, but you can soften one small corner in someone else's world. And sometimes, it is precisely when you help another person stand up that you will realize your own heart is being healed. But first, do not forget to care for yourself. There are people you love deeply, responsibilities you value greatly, and duties you cannot simply leave behind. But you, too, are a soul that needs to be nourished. Rest when your body is tired. Eat with kindness toward yourself. Allow yourself to be still in a quiet moment. Look at the sky. Touch the sunlight. Walk slowly through an afternoon. Give yourself permission to be joyful without feeling guilty. Give yourself permission to heal without feeling selfish. I did not create you to live like a lamp burning itself down until it is exhausted and goes out. I want you to burn with the flame of peace, with a light that can guide both you and those I send into your life. So lift your eyes, my beloved child. The night may still be long, but it is not longer than my love for you. The road may still have many turns, but there is no turn that lies beyond my sight. You may not yet see tomorrow clearly, but you do not need to fear tomorrow, because I was already there before you arrived. Walk forward with a lighter heart. Let the things that no longer belong to you remain behind. Let the words I speak tonight become a blanket covering your soul. I know you. I understand you. I keep you. I have not abandoned you. And even when you cannot yet be proud of yourself, borrow my eyes and look at yourself again. I see in you someone who is growing day by day. I see in you a beauty that does not need to be loud. I see in you a life that still has many bright pages ahead. I am still proud of you. I am still in your room. I am still sitting beside you, in this gentle silence, until your heart remembers this truth: you are loved. And after hearing me say that I am still here, perhaps there is still a small, fragile voice within you that does not yet dare to believe completely. That voice may whisper, "But if you are truly here, why am I still in pain? If you love me, why must I still pass through days that feel so heavy?" My beloved child, I do not blame you for those questions. I do not turn my face away when you are weak in heart. I am not saddened because you cannot yet understand the whole path on which I am leading you. Even the souls who once loved me deeply have looked up to heaven and asked why the darkness had not yet passed. Even David, who once sang songs of praise, also cried out that his heart was broken and his soul was worn down. But remember this: faith is not the absence of questions. Faith is that even with questions, you still do not leave my hand. Faith is when your heart trembles, yet you still choose to remain. Faith is when you have not yet seen the dawn, yet you still believe that the sun has not disappeared behind the night. I do not always take away the storm immediately, but I am in the boat with you. I do not always make the road smooth, but I make your feet strong enough to walk across the sharp stones. And one day, when you look back, you will realize that in the very place where you thought you had completely fallen, I was quietly lifting you up. There are times when I allow you to pass through silence, not so that you will think I am distant, but so that you may learn to hear what is deeper than the noise of the world. For so long, you have heard too many voices telling you that you must be faster, better, more successful, more beautiful, stronger. You have allowed those words to enter your mind, and little by little, you began to believe that love only comes when you have enough achievements, that you are only worthy of being cherished when you disappoint no one. But I do not speak to you that way. I do not look at you through what you own, through the money you earn, through the praise you receive, or through the things others post to make their lives look radiant. I look at your heart. I see there a child who once longed so much to be loved, so much to be seen, so much to hear someone say, "You have done well." And today, in the quiet of this room, I want to say what perhaps you have been waiting to hear for a very long time. You have done well. You may not yet have reached the place you dream of, but you have come much farther than where you once stood. You may still have weak days, but you are no longer the person of those old days. You may not yet be completely healed, but your wound is no longer a place where despair lives. It is slowly becoming a place where light enters. Do not forget that I am not only with you when you know what to do. I am also with you when you are confused. I am also with you when you stand between two choices and do not know which road leads to peace. I am also with you when every plan in which you once placed so much hope suddenly changes direction. There were times when you begged me to let everything happen according to your will, but then what you hoped for did not come to pass. You were hurt. You were disappointed, and you thought I had not answered. But my beloved child, not everything you lose is something that was meant to belong to you. There are doors I close to keep you from a room without light. There are relationships I allow to drift away so that your soul will no longer be tied to things that make you feel small. There are dreams I do not allow to bloom in the season you wanted, because I know that if they came too soon, they would become a burden instead of a blessing. Just as a seed must remain in the earth for a long time. Just as a field must endure the rainy season before it can become green. Your soul is also being prepared. I have not delayed because I have forgotten you. I am doing things your eyes cannot yet see. I am making a way in the place where you thought there was only a wall. I am preserving you from things that, if you knew them, might bring you to tears of gratitude. Therefore, do not be quick to conclude that your life has gone in the wrong direction simply because you have not yet seen the result. There are journeys on which I do not let you see the destination from the very beginning, because I want you to learn how to walk by faith. When Abraham left the familiar place, he did not have a complete map in his hands. He had only a promise and a heart that knew I was leading the way. When Moses stood before the wide sea, he did not see the path beneath the waters, but I made that path appear at the right time. When Peter stepped out of the boat, he did not know how far he could walk on the water. The only thing he needed to do was keep his eyes on me. You are the same. Do not let your eyes remain fixed on the waves. Do not let the things that have not yet happened steal the peace of today. Do not let fear of tomorrow make you forget that today you still have breath, still have opportunity, still have my presence. I do not demand that you understand everything. I only invite you to take one more step, and then one more step after that. Your steps may be small, but if you walk with me, you will not lose your way. I know there are times when your heart feels like a house that has gone too long without light. There are rooms within your soul that you do not want to open, because inside them are memories, wounds, and things you have tried to bury deep so you would not have to face them. But I do not come to force you to open everything in one day. I do not come to make you retell your pain when you are not ready. I come like a small lamp, standing beside that door, patiently waiting for you to allow me to enter. When you open the door, I will not look at you with disappointment. I will not ask why that room is so messy, why it is filled with dust, or why after all this time you have not cleaned it. I will simply sit down beside you, take your hand, and say, "We will do this together." That is my love. It is not making you repair everything that is broken all by yourself. It is not pushing you into places that frighten you. It is walking with you through every dark corner, gathering each piece of your heart with you, wiping away the tears you have hidden for so long. I am not in a hurry with your healing. I do not measure your worth by the speed of your recovery. I only want you to know that no matter what stage you are in, I still love you completely. Perhaps you have become used to forcing yourself to be strong. You are used to saying, "I'm fine," when, in truth, your heart is very tired. You are used to telling everyone that you are okay, and then afterward, sitting alone, quietly, in a dark room. You are used to being a support for others, but you do not know whom to lean on when you yourself need to be held up. But my beloved child, you do not always have to be the strong one. You do not need to carry the whole world on your shoulders just to prove that you are not weak. Let me be the place where you rest. Let me be the shoulder you lean on when your heart has no strength left. I once said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened." Do not hear those words as something far away. Hear them as a word I am speaking right beside your ear at this very moment. Come to me. You do not need to bring beautiful words. You do not need to prepare a perfect soul. You do not need to wait until you become better. Come just as you are, tired, tangled, weak, even angry and confused. I can bear everything you do not know how to say to anyone else. My love is wider than your sorrow. deeper than your disappointment, and more enduring than all the things that are making you afraid. There will come mornings when you wake up and realize that you feel a little lighter, not because every problem has disappeared, but because I have made your soul stronger to face them. You will begin to understand that peace is not a life without difficulty. Peace is knowing that, in the midst of difficulty, you are still not abandoned. Peace is when you can look at a day full of challenges and still say, I do not know how everything will turn out, but I know the one who is leading me. Peace is when you can let go of what you cannot control and trust that I am still at work. Do not be too harsh with yourself when you do not feel peace immediately. There will be days when your heart wavers again. There will be days when an old wound aches. There will be days when you think you are already okay. But a word, a memory, or an unexpected image suddenly brings you to tears. That does not mean you have gone back to the beginning. It only means you are still human, still healing, still learning how to embrace the vulnerable part of yourself. And every time that happens, I am still here. I do not grow tired of lifting you up many times. I do not say that you have disappointed me. I simply reach out my hand once more, as gently as I did the first time. Stop blaming yourself for the times you trusted the wrong people. You trusted because your heart knows how to love. You gave because you had hope. You stayed because you did not want to give up on someone too easily. Those things do not make you foolish. They only show that you have a deep heart. Of course, I want you to learn to be wiser. I want you to know how to set boundaries with those who do not know how to respect your kindness. I want you to understand that love does not mean allowing others to hurt you again and again. But I do not want you to close your heart to the whole world because of a few wounds. Do not let one person's betrayal make you doubt every beautiful heart. Do not let one disappointment make you stop believing that sincere love still exists. I am still preparing people for you who can sit beside you in silence without making you feel alone. I am still preserving encounters for you in which you will not have to pretend. I am still teaching you to distinguish between those who only want to be present when you are shining and those who are willing to remain when you are only a small flame. Be patient. The things that belong to me will not require you to trade away your peace in order to keep them. On the days when you feel small, remember the boy who brought 5 loaves and 2 fish. Perhaps that boy also did not think the small gift in his hands could do anything among such a great crowd. But when he placed that little offering into my hands, I made it become enough for many people. You, too, may be looking at your life and saying, this is all I have. I am not as talented as others. I am not as strong as others. I do not have many abilities, much money, or many opportunities, but I do not ask how much you have. I only ask whether you are willing to place what you have in my hands. A kind word from you can be bread for someone whose heart is hungry. An embrace from you can be shelter for someone who is desperate. Your willingness to listen can save someone from feeling abandoned. Your smile can make a gloomy day feel lighter. Do not look down on the small things you can do. In my hands, even what is small can carry great meaning. I do not need you to become someone else in order to use you. I only need you to be yourself. With a sincere heart and willing hands,